Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amanda, and this is The Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast.
This podcast is all about taking action and creating that badass business abundance and life that you want.
Where we share stories, laughs, wins, and epic fails to show you the whole picture of the entrepreneurial journey.
It's not just unicorns and rainbows, people.
Jump on and follow us through this raw and witty roller coaster,
where we get down and dirty and go behind the scenes of life and entrepreneurship.
Get on it,
get over it,
and get after it.
Hey there, listeners. Do you want to boost your productivity and finally get some things done?
We have an exciting opportunity just for you. Join our free masterclass, Get Shit Done, on June 24th and 25th.
It's time to take control, smash those goals, and make things happen.
Don't miss out. Reserve your spot now and transform the way you work. Visit badassamplifier.com/GSD-masterclass to sign up today. And don't worry, you'll find that link in the show notes.
It's time. Let's get some shit done. Hey, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amanda. Welcome to The Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast. We are back again to talk about one of our favorite things. Shocker, I'm sure. And that is amplifying your business basics and what that means as a new and a seasoned entrepreneur.
Absolutely. You know, there are key things that can really help you amplify your business. And we're going to break down some of those today on the podcast. One of the things that we talk a lot around is there's a reason, season, lifetime of your business. So you do things for your business for a reason. And then there's a season, seasonal because of the mindset that you're in, because of the season that your business is in. Is it brand new? Is it kind of in toddler mode? Is it newborn, toddler mode, teenage mode? We can also do the tween age because that's a weird age too. Then is it in full adult mode? So the one thing that we want you to understand is that what you did yesterday won't always serve you tomorrow, right? And what you did for this particular situation won't always serve you. So the first thing that we typically talk about is like, okay, so let's kind of lay out all the tasks that you're doing, everything that's kind of in your business, and what is getting you to the next level. So what needs to go? So that's the first thing that we're usually going to look at is like, what's the first thing that needs to go? What can you offload either completely or delegate?
Yeah, and this is part of that concept of how can you stop the hemorrhaging in your business? And the hemorrhaging can be financial hemorrhaging. It could be the time sucks, things that are just eating away at your energy. There's a lot of things that can fall into that. But no matter where you are in the stage of your business, whether you are brand spanking new or you've been in it for 15, 20 years, it's important to reevaluate regularly so you can see where you can make adjustments because your business grows just like you do. It's never going to be the same year to year, week to week. There are things that change. And if you haven't experienced this yet in your business, I would challenge you to take a better look because your business evolves just like you do. As you grow as an entrepreneur, your business is going to grow too. And so you need to make those adjustments in order to amplify your business in whatever way it needs amplifying. Maybe it needs amplifying from a financial standpoint because you're not quite making the goals and the budgets that you need. Maybe it's that you need more time to focus on other things. Maybe you're working too much in the business and not on the business. So all of those things can come into play when you're really trying to set up this basic foundation of where your business needs or what your business needs in order to go to the next step. And so that can come around your business planning, like looking at the importance of your business blueprints, creating your mission and vision statements. That could be market research and then understanding your target market further, or it could be just straight up financial management, looking at your basics of accounting, your budgeting, your financial forecasting. All of that plays into it. And it's going to change. It's never going to be set it and forget it if you are actively participating in your business.
No, your business basics are eating, breathing, living things, including all the documents and the systems that you have. So doing that first analysis of like, okay, what's serving me? What's going to serve me in growth at this point? So what do I need to get rid of? What's no longer serving me? And then streamlining. So the next thing I would say, or we would say is then look at what you can streamline. So once you kind of like lay everything out on the table, the make-believe table, or maybe it is on sticky notes. And then you say, okay, what can I streamline? So where can we build some more systems or fundamentals or foundations around? Where can we cut out the time and the effort so we can maximize our ROI, right? Our return on investment, regardless if that's time, effort, etc. So looking at where you can streamline things is really going to help, one, save you some sanity once things are streamlined, because the process, and Amanda and I do this quite often. We look at like, okay, this is working. Usually we implement something, then we try to get it as clean as possible. And then we say, okay, the next, when we rinse, repeat, we look at how we can streamline it. But to us, like, to amplify your business, you can do it at each like milestone or each new launch or each whatever, but minimum once a year, we say that you're needing to kind of do this, like, look around, get rid of what's not serving, streamline those systems and processes.
Absolutely. I tend to look at it pretty regularly, once a quarter, because my mind, for whatever reason, does a little shift every 3 months. It's like, what can I do better now? How can I be more efficient, more productive, make more money this quarter? Like, what can I do that's going to make my business better, amplify my business? And for whatever reason, for me, it works once a quarter. For someone else, it could be once a year. It could be semi-annually, whatever works for you, because ultimately it's about what works for you. Because if you're not going to do it once a quarter, then you're never going to do it. It's like working out. If you know that if you say you're going to work out at 5 o'clock, but you know that at 5 o'clock, all you want to do is go home and like chillax, then you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you say, okay, like, I'm going to do it in the morning, I'm going to do it every Monday, whatever, then you'll be more likely and more inclined to do it. So same thing when you're setting up your business basics here. You've got to make sure that you're setting up a system that works for you, not your neighbor, not your dad from 50 years ago, not anything else. Because a lot of times when you are setting up your business, particularly when you're newer to business or in the first couple of years of your business, you tend to take on what people said you needed to take on, or what Google said you needed to take on, or what ChatGPT said you needed to do. And sometimes that stuff that they recommend either is irrelevant for your business, or overkill, or just useless, and then just taking up more of your time than you really need. So it's important to really evaluate what's working for you in your business, not anybody else's business or life.
Yeah, this isn't keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. You definitely have to like look at what's going on with you. I love that you added that. I know we joke and we laugh around, especially with AI and stuff, right? That like you could map out every business entity and kind of like process in a basic generic, but listen, it's not a one size fits all. There are some standards, absolutely, that AI or Google or the next guru can help you with, but really you have to cater it to make sure that it's for you. And I'll give you actually a great example, and this is outside of business. When I was married, my ex-husband wanted me to take care of, I was going to be responsible for the finances. I hated it. I hated it so much. But he wanted me, so I was like, okay, I'll do it. But then he wanted me to use his system, and his system, just like thinking about it, makes my skin crawl. Not that his system didn't work. And I know that there was actually some mental things too, not just the dynamic with my own self, but also the dynamic with him and the money situation. But his system was not working for me. So you have to, even though financials, obviously we need to track our financials and project and all that stuff, was an essential part of what our life was. It was difficult to use his system. So this is exactly what we're saying, like, laying everything out, looking at how you can streamline, getting rid of like, getting out of your head, like what others think that you should have. I also, and we talk a lot about this, Amanda, is like, once you have everything out, then you have to ask yourself the hard question: is your current business model scalable? And it's mind-blowing. And Amanda and I know we can like chat about this. Probably this should be its own podcast in itself. And this is something that when I bought into the franchise and we trained, we coached, consulted essentially around a said particular topics. We had a lot of discussions when we would have conferences and different things of like, a lot of times we were creating jobs for ourselves and not businesses because, and it wasn't very scalable because the whole business kind of encapsulated around us as an individual. And a lot of times we in coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses, we create a business where it is solely focused around us. And sometimes it's a bit harder, like a facialist, like my facialist in Bangkok, like we were talking about, like, if she gets injured, if she gets hurt, then like there's no business. So her business isn't very scalable in the model that it is. So how can we make it scalable? And I know we talk a lot around this, especially in the amplifier, but
Yeah, and actually there's even in the United States anyway, there's actually even insurances that you can buy for when your key people get sick or get injured so it doesn't disrupt your revenue streams. And every time I think about getting that insurance, I'm like, this insurance is for people who can't scale their businesses. Like, this insurance was designed for people who can't scale their businesses. And I know it's harsh. And for anybody who has that insurance, like, there are reasons to have it. I mean, I get it. COVID, I mean, there's lots of reasons to have it. However, if you do have that insurance, or if you feel like that is a good idea, you might want to take a look at, is your business actually scalable? If you stepped away tomorrow, would the entire thing collapse? What's your exit strategy? Are you planning on leaving it as a legacy? Are you wanting to sell it one day down the road? Are you wanting to step away and do more distance work where you're living abroad and working? I mean, I've got a business that's 5,000 miles away from me and I'm there a couple times a year, but the business, I mean, I have a great partner. Anyway, there's a point is that the business runs without me being there, and I don't want it to be dependent on me being there. And I don't want to be more in it because I like the way it runs now. I want it to be scalable. I want to be able to sell it in a year, 10 years, whoever, and have it not be dependent upon me. So when you're looking at those scalable things, it's really important that you think ahead on that. So in alignment with that, I like to think about looking at my actual operations, like streamlining your processes, your supply chain management, the logistics of running your business, and set up those SOPs, those standard operating procedures, so that you can step away and the whole thing doesn't fall apart just because you've left the building for 5 minutes.
And that's a whole other, and we've done a podcast on delegation, haven't we? Yeah. So look at that podcast. But yeah, the SOPs help you be able to either sell, scale, delegate, right? Which would be the scaling part, is definitely important. It's so mind-blowing. And it seems to be the topic lately that we've been discussing is like so many people get into business and they actually create a job for themselves. They don't realize that they're not creating a business and they're just kind of chained to it. So you need to make sure that it's scalable. And listen, Recencies and Lifetime, in mine and Amanda's, if we're using ours as an example, like in the first few years, we were building. So we were definitely scaling, but we couldn't step away yet because we were the end all be all. But in the first couple of years, we were building our know, like, trust, figuring out like how we're going to do this. And now we're in the season of essentially streamlining, creating the processes. So that way next year we are less we're less the center of the universe, if that makes sense. Yeah. That way we're able to support others, et cetera, et cetera. So like we're constantly looking at ways to like be able to grow, maximize within our vision, within our mission, our values, our own like idea of what business should be. We don't lose that, but we're definitely revamping everything to make sure that we can get to that next level. It's all about amplifying. And we do want to plant the little seed of like where you're at amplifying could mean just like one step ahead. Like it doesn't have to look like mine and Amanda's. It doesn't have to look like, Grant Cardone's. It doesn't have to look like Amy Porterfield's. Yours is your journey. And, it's interesting. I had a sales call not too long ago with a woman, and she wanted to kind of break off into her own. She was a referral from a really good friend. And she wanted to break off into her own and do her own business. And so we had a great sales call, and she's like, okay, I just need to make some shifts because she has a full-time job. And really she told me and told my girlfriend who referred me, she's like, you know what, after thinking about it, I don't want to scale. I just want it to be a hobby business. I just want it to be like a side hustle. And I love that she was really honest with herself in that moment. So you have to know what you want to do with it as well, because you might not want to be a cajillionaire, and that's fine. Know where you want to go, but that helps you set up the right model to be able to scale it. Because if you're not growing, you are dying, like at the end of the day. So scaling just means growth. You can have exponential scaling or minimal scaling, but just kind of planting that seed.
No, I love that you said that, because not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to have their own private jet, or, I mean, there's so many things that I don't want a jet. Sounds like a lot of maintenance. I don't want a boat. That sounds like a lot of maintenance.
It's bad for the Mama Earth. I know.
I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. So I can have big aspirations and have big dreams, but some of those things where people like, you've made it if you have a gold toilet seat. Well, I don't want one of those. That seems like it'll be a pain to clean. Okay. So of course I'd probably hire somebody, but the point is I don't want it. So we have to define what your own success is. So all in all, the point is that the definition of success is dependent on each person. And if you and I've talked about this on many stages, even, that we're so bombarded with what everybody thinks success is that we don't actually know how to identify it for ourselves. So when you're trying to grow and scale your business, if you don't know what that looks like, what your end goal looks like, you're going to be living out somebody else's goals and somebody else's definition of what that growth is. And I love that you mentioned that someone decided that they did want it to be a hobby business. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a hobby business, but it's important that you know the difference between it, because that can set yourself up for failure or success, long-term and short-term. So being really honest with yourself and deciding what you want, because not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be a small business owner. And that's good, because that's why I can have employees, because if everybody wanted to be a business owner, I wouldn't have anybody work for me. So thank you, everybody who wants to do a 9 to 5 and who wants to work for someone else. I appreciate you and what you do. And continuing on in this vein of what you need to do to amplify your business. One of the things that Lynn and I talk about all the time is really refining your sales technique, your customer relations, your pricing strategies, all that stuff. And so when Lynn mentioned about the fact that she and I were both really into our businesses at the beginning, it's because we were setting up those fundamental, this is our sales process. This is our pitch. This is understanding your funnel. This is how you close the deal. This is understanding your CRM, understanding your ideal client, creating that structure so that somebody else can come in the sales capacity alone and take over. It's setting up your team, your leadership dynamics, your team dynamics, and hiring the right people so that you are setting yourself up to step away if that's your intention. And a lot of times in the beginning, it is going to be more work than you want it to be in order to have a real growth and scale model. And it just depends on where you see your business going and what that scaling and that amplifying looks like to you based on honestly what you want to see happen in your business. But you got to know.
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up, because I was going to bring that up too. Your sales process and your client journey. And you brought up a couple of good points to those particular things that's important to look at for you to scale, but also like, that's how you evaluate. That's how you know, like, what's working, what's not in the growth aspect, because without clients, you don't have a business. Let's repeat that. Without clients, you do not have a business. So if your sales isn't on point in conversion, and if your client journey isn't on point, then you are letting money slip away. So really evaluating to amplify your business, you have to hone in on, and a lot of times with the sales, at least, it's getting back to the basics, because kind of like our everyday business operations, we just like pile things on. We're like, oh, I'm going to try that. Oh, I'm going to try that. And we kind of get off script, if you would. So with sales, I would essentially say like getting back to the basics and making sure that basics is super strong. And then whatever like little additives that you have, because each salesperson is going to bring their own character to it, their own ability to it, and behavioral style to it, which can definitely help you like maximize your sales efforts. But if your process and your sales system isn't in place, then how do you expect other people to do it? But you cannot amplify your business if your sales isn't on point. And then your customer journey, if you're hemorrhaging customers, if they're not staying, but also they can give you feedback of what works, what doesn't, that can absolutely what their needs are. Maybe their needs have changed. So if your customer journey only lasts like a month, or if it lasts 2 years, like how can you continue that? Because they've already purchased from you. How can you continue that? That will help you. They're the baseline in which you continue to build. Because if you know that you have them, and money coming in either reoccurring or project based or whatever, and this is true with even grocery stores, babes, like we all have our favorite like grocery store that we like to go to for a reason. And that could be the way that we're like, I go to a more expensive grocery store, one, because they have more accessibility, two, because their food seems to be, I'll say better quality. Also the staff, like I go to one particular one because the staff is a bit more friendly. And I remember when I lived in Hawaii, I would go to this, even after we moved, I'd go to this one particular grocery store, even though they had multiple locations, because the staff was so sweet. And there was a stock boy who, who was a bit slower, and he lit up every time I saw him. And it was just like, I felt like I was coming home every time. And that's because I felt taken care of there. So that's part of the client journey. Like who's having touch points with your clients? Like, how does it feel with your clients? Are you asking them for advice? Or not advice, but input, depending on the level of clients and your type of business. Sometimes it is asking them for advice to be able to like go into that next step. What are they wanting? And are they even your client base in the next level of amplifying? Sometimes they might not be, right? And so it's really understanding your client journey and your sales process. Absolutely.
And there's one more thing. I mean, there's lots of things that fall into amplifying your business basics, but there's one thing that I really want to stress, because I didn't do it for a really, really long time. And that is personal development for entrepreneurs. Continuously learning, maintaining a positive, resilient mindset, and you're improving your mindset, work-life harmony, and managing your stress, and maintaining a healthy harmony between your personal and your professional life. I cannot stress enough how important that personal and professional development is, because as I said, your business is going to grow. You want to grow too. We should be constantly growing and changing and evolving as individuals, but also as professionals. And so I highly recommend that you seek out things that are going to light up your personal side, but also things that are going to light up your business side, things that are going to increase, like improve your development. And Lynn and I both are serial, we're serial educators. We take classes all the time. We take courses, we take seminars, we put ourselves in a room with people who are where we want to be, or 10 times better than where we are. We constantly are doing that and reinvesting in our own personal and professional development, because we see so much results. We both have coaches and consultants that we work with and have for years and years. And so it has made all the difference in how I've seen my business, how I've grown my business, because we all need to grow, and your professional and personal side need to be included in that.
Absolutely. Well, you're able to see things through different lenses. You can be inspired, etc. One last little nugget, and then we'll wrap up, because I know we're at time, is that, and we spoke about this in our book, and in a podcast. But when you are amplifying your business, you are going to realize again that there are people in your room that no longer align with, and this could be employees. Like I was just talking with a client that I helped, kind of like they had their first 15 years business and they wanted to like plan for the next 10 years or the next 5 years. And essentially I did an analysis and I'm like, some of your staff's got to go. Like they're not in it to win it for that next kind of, they were there to help you build, and that's okay. So really looking at the people around you inside your business, but also in your personal life, in your business sphere. Some people will stay, but a lot of times you do have to absolutely kind of, you have to be put in front of new people, and we only have so much capacity. And so we want to make sure that we are aligning with the right people to absolutely bring our business to the next level and to amplify that. And so it doesn't mean that those people are bad. Again, listen to Love People from Afar, because that's a great podcast, but essentially your network is your net worth. So it needs to change if you want to up-level your net worth. It's going to change if you want to amplify your business and yourself. So just kind of last little nugget, but I feel like we go on forever. I have notes that we haven't even covered, so there might be a part 2.
There's always a part 2, part 3, part 57.
Yeah.
You can't shut us up. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, if any of this resonated with you, make sure you are liking, sharing, subscribing, but share this with another entrepreneur who needs to hear this message, because we can all amplify our business no matter where we are in it. There's always an opportunity to grow and learn and change for the better.
Absolutely. And if you want more information, go ahead and DM us, because we definitely know how to amplify some shit. Till next time.
Show. Get after it.
All right, everyone. It's not enough to just listen.
Now you've got to put it into action.
We are so excited to see what you do next.
If you enjoyed our show, please leave us a review on iTunes.
And to find out more about what we're doing, visit us at thepursuitofbadasserie.com.